Thank you for downloading this in-ear entertainment podcast. You're listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets. Sonnet 24. Mine eye hath played the painter and hath steeled thy beauty's form in table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein 'tis held, and perspective it is best painter's art. For through the painter must you see his skill, to find where your true image pictured lies, which in my bosom's shop is hanging still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes. Now see what good turns eyes for eyes have done. Mine eyes have drawn thy shape, and thine for me are windows to my breast, where through the sun delights to peep, to gaze therein on thee. Yet eyes this cunning want to grace their art, they draw but what they see, know not the heart. God, that was Sonnet 24. That's a really odd one to read.
Did a good job of that, though.
It has a very weird pattern to it, and I'm sorry if I read that in a very flat tone, but I didn't know where any sort of emotion should go in that poem at all.
That's a good that's a good review for a sonnet. I didn't know where the emotion was supposed to be,
because usually you can put in like da 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 da, and you can interface with the poem. I suppose is a bad computer analogy, but you can, but not this one. Anyway, I'm Mark Chatterley. I'm joined by my friend and wonderful person who there we go. That's his name.
Just wonderful person. That yeah.
And we're slowly going through all the sonnets. We've kind of, I admit, over the last couple of sonnets, not really talked about the sonnets. And we're going to try and fix that with this sonnet, aren't we? Yes, we are. we are, because this looks like quite a deep and dense poem or sonnet. Or do you think it looks dense to me?
I think that's just all the THs in this one.
There are a lot of thines and minds and eyes in this.
Yeah. I mean, before we started recording this one, you said that this one is almost taking the piss of other poems.
Yeah, I do quickly scan the Wikipedia page, but that's all the research I tend to do for these. And there's one dude called Henry Charles Beeching, which is an awesome name, speculates that it might be a half-serious spoof of a cliche type of poem, which I can see. And Henry Beeching, for anyone who wants to know, was an English clergyman, author and poet, if you didn't know that already.
He's vaguely, well, maybe he is famous in the academic circle, but I'm pretty sure I've heard the name before. He
attributed to him the popular epigram on Benjamin Jewett, who I don't know, but first come I, my name is Jewett. There's no knowledge, but I know it. I am master of this college. What I don't know isn't knowledge. Apparently, he's famous for that. That shocked you to the core, hasn't it? That's
just if I don't know it, it's not. That's.
I'm the master of this college.
I don't even know what megalomaniac.
Yeah. It's like that old thing that you would do with you'd say, oh, between me and my brother who's not here, we know every single thing in the world. Just ask me anything, and then if they ask you something you didn't know, just go, oh, that must be one my brother knows. And you're never wrong. It's a bit like that, it seems. Anyway, the sonnet. We must talk about the sonnet. I'm going to be strict.
It's again, we have very, very cliche sort of you see me in my you see yourself in my eyes and I see myself in your heart sort of type images, which
horrid love poem stuff.
Horror, yeah, just excruciating. But then, if this is actually meant to be satirical,
yeah,
then that does actually work quite well.
And it's very odd that a lot of time is spent describing the not the image of the person, but the image of where it's held. So, mine eye have played the painter and have steeled thy beauteous form in table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein it is held. Well, I know your heart's in your body. That's where your heart lives. It seems odd to waste time explaining that the heart is in my body.
I don't know, maybe they had ouds at the time.
with the brain in the hand.
With the brain in the hand. Yeah, well, maybe we an alien race from Doctor Who carries a second brain in their hand.
They actually have 3 brains, if you want to get technical. They got the brain in the head, the brain that they carry. There's a big third giant brain.
Giant brain that sort of controls
their telepathy.
Yeah, sort of like a hive mind sort of thing.
Because, we need lots of brains. That was a good episode. Anyway, the sonnet. The sonnet. We're so bad. Yes, so picture, my heart's in you. I've painted a picture, you're in my heart is in my body, but you can't really see it because you can't, through the painter you must see his skill. It's kind of saying you can't really appreciate the skilled work of a painter if you're not the painter.
Which is sort of true. You can, any art, you can always appreciate, but if you actually have the skill yourself, you can appreciate it on a whole different level.
Yes, I suppose so. I wondered if it's a nod to him admitting that some of these sonnets are a bit impenetrable. You sort of Shakespeare saying you won't understand the full meaning of these sonnets because you're not me.
Possibly, which might be a bit. Sorry, narcissistic or
this is Shakespeare in his big-headed phase.
Maybe it's just getting drunk. You don't understand what I'm trying to tell you.
No one understands me. Oh, I like drunk Shakespeare. We should do a series, drunk Shakespeare. Stop the sonnet.
We'll do a special when we sell this on iTunes. When it's all done, it'll be an album. We'll sell it on iTunes. We'll do a special where we read all the sonnets drunk. Or you can read them on Painkillers.
I can read them on Painkillers, and you can read them drunk. It'd be 2 secret tracks or something like that. That would be awful. 154 sonnets with me on Painkillers. The sonnet. We must talk about the sonnet. It's talking about the bosom again. Is in there. We had breast in the last one.
Yeah, it's quite a weird line to find where a true image pictured lies, which in my bosom's shop is hanging still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes.
Yeah.
Just...
My body is a shop. My eyes are the window to the shop, and my bosom is where things are hanging. My bosom's shop. Bosom's a good word. I hope this is satirical because he's painting some really, really strange images here. Yeah, and I think that must be why people think it's a kind of pastiche or a takedown of some of these things. I guess.
Maybe some of his own.
Yeah. Now see what good turns eyes. Now see what good turns eyes for eyes have done. It's just some of it is so impenetrable. Mine eyes have drawn thy shape, and thine for me are windows to my breast, where through the sun delights to peep, to gaze therein on thee. It just doesn't sound like Shakespeare. I think that's where I am, and
yeah.
Because Shakespeare, the one of the things I like about Shakespeare is that there's a lot of meaning in his sonnets, but there's always a way in. It may not be obvious, but there is always a way in to see what he's talking about and why he's talking about it. But this just seems so unlike that. And peep just doesn't sound like a Shakespearean word to me.
Well, maybe he's possibly not trying to be Shakespeare.
Yeah.
If it is making fun of other such poems, or maybe even specifically other such sonnets, he wouldn't be trying to be Shakespeare. He would be trying to be this poet who writes sort of almost nonsense lines and strange images and over the top analogies.
And I think that's it. Yeah, a lot of it is it seems over the top and weird, too weird. So I mean, we had in the last one that, you know, we've swapped hearts. I'm in your heart, you're in my heart, and now we've got this idea of you're living in my heart, but then my there's also a shop inside me, and you can see into the shop because of my eyes are the windows, and it just seems so weird. I think is what I'm going to describe this sonnet as.
I think that's the perfect description. Just really, really, well, it's almost like surreal.
Yes, except for the last two lines. I think yet eyes this cunning want to grace their art. They draw, but what they see, know not the heart. And if I'm reading that right, it's saying that I can only draw what I can see, physically see with my eyes, and that doesn't include the emotions and feelings I have for you. I can just make a picture, and that's not going to convey all of you. That's just your physical shape,
just a physical appearance,
and that's quite nice. That's more Shakespeare-y. Shakespeare-y is a word I've just made up, and
good old Billy.
It's a bit more like a Billy poem, but the rest of it, I don't know. I don't like. Maybe I just don't like it, and maybe I'm biased.
Maybe that is what's happening though. The three stanzas before that, he is just taking the mickey, and then the last two lines, he goes back to being Shakespeare.
Yeah, I might for fun read a real analysis of this poem, this sonnet after I've done this. That's what this podcast is all about. For fun, I'm going to go and read some academic stuff. We've achieved it. The podcast has achieved its goal. We can now stop. Or we can carry on and do them all like we said we would.
For reading the couplet, it does sound sort of, because it gets so serious after the whole strange lovey-dovey sort of thing. You say they draw but what they see, know not the heart, which almost sounds a bit gloomy.
Yeah, because I suppose it's gloomy because if other people are only seeing the physical manifestation of this person, then how can they ever see what Shakespeare sees in the wider sense of the word in them? So yeah, it is sad. Other people won't understand why I think you're so wonderful.
Which again is what goes on when you're in love. Most people just go, I don't know what you see in her.
Yeah.
Or in him.
Gotta be politically correct. Yeah, because people don't like the same thing, unless you believe magazines which tell people that you should all.
Yes, everyone likes the. I don't even know what the perfect shape is meant to be.
That idea is definitely conveyed by media, and even to the point where if you don't think whoever the latest heartthrob is particularly good looking, then you're weird and unusual, and it seems very odd idea to me that there is an ideal that everyone would want to be with if they could, because then it suggests that if you're not with that type of person, you're settling for something less, and I don't think that's an idea we should be telling people and spreading around. I think that's a horrible idea.
Well, I had that. Was it the I can't remember what women's magazine that chooses like the sexiest man alive every year.
Yeah, like Cosmopolitan or something like that.
Yeah, one of those, and they chose what's he called? The guy who was in 21 Jump Street with Jonah Hill, the tall guy, and then he played the stripper thingy.
I don't know who that is. Sorry,
I can't remember, but they chose him over Ryan Gosling, and there were just, you went on Facebook and Twitter, there's like so many people that were upset that they didn't choose Ryan Gosling, because obviously Ryan Gosling is the sexiest man on the planet, and you just go, well, maybe he is to you, but
to someone else,
maybe the people who voted for someone. It's not, there is no no perfect beauty.
Ryan Gosling. I'm trying to find. I'm quickly
Oh,
googling, going. I need to be involved in this conversation.
He's starting Drive. I think that was his last one with Kerry Mulligan.
Okay.
Blonde bloke. I can't remember.
I've just got a picture up of him. Born in 1980 in London, Ontario. Okay, so not London. Yeah,
But yeah, there's this expectation from the media that you should find that one person to be the. I've had that discussion with people so many. One of my friends, female friends, convinced me to watch an episode of Sex and the City once, and she was like, "Oh, Sarah Jessica Parker, she's so fit and everything." I don't see that, and we almost had a fight because I refuse to acknowledge that I find Sarah Jessica Parker beautiful.
Yeah, when
so
it is by
completely subjective.
Yeah, and anyone's standard beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that isn't just something people say. It's got to be true, because if everyone thought one thing was the most attractive, then
we would have died out a long time ago.
Exactly that, and it's almost as if I don't think it's necessarily your genetic to say that everyone finds this one thing to be the perfect thing. You're saying that that's hard built into people. Well, it can't be.
I don't think it is. I've seen my personal taste change to various extremes over time.
Yeah, exactly, and I suppose linking it back to the sonnet, that's what I think these last two lines are kind of saying. So there is depth in this. It's just
hidden very, very well
in just two lines. And we definitely haven't just spun out a conversation at all. It was all...
We brought it all back to the sonnet. It's good. It's fine.
Yeah, we've done it.
We've
done it. And we should finish, I guess. I shall let you read us out on Sonnet 24.
Sonnet 24. Mine eye hath played the painter and hath steeled thy beauty's form in table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein 'tis held, and perspective that is best painter's art. For through the painter must you see his skill, to find where your true image pictured lies, which in my bosom's shop is hanging still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes. Now see what good turns eyes for eyes have done. Mine eyes have drawn thy shape, and thine for me are windows to my breast, where through the sun delights to peep, to gaze therein on thee. Yet eyes this cunning want to grace their art. They draw but what they see, know not the heart.
Excellent. That was Sonnet 24 from Shakespeare's Sonnets. Thank you for joining us again. I've been Mark Chatterley.
I have been Thierry Heles.
And we will see you again next time for 25. Goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Shakespeare Sonnets with Mark Chatterley and Thierry Heles. This has been an In-Ear Entertainment podcast. To listen to other podcasts or find out more about In-Ear Entertainment, go to www.inearentertainment.com.